Welcome to the Raider Nation Podcast, where we're talking all things Nettleton. And now, here's your host, Lannie Oliver.
Hello and welcome back to your Raider Nation Podcast. Today we have a special guest, Mr. Shipman, our principal. How are you feeling about being on here today?
A little nervous, but very excited.
That's good. This is something new we're trying. We're trying film, so you're getting to witness this firsthand today. This is the first time we've ever done this. We've been doing sound because obviously you had to listen to them before.
I've listened to every one. They've been awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I've been putting a lot of effort into this.
I could tell.
So today we've got some questions we want to ask you to get to know our principal better. Is that exciting or is that scary?
It's exciting. I just hope I don't give out too much information.
Hopefully not. He's already told us the social security number. So first question, where did you attend high school and college?
I attended high school in Mountain View, Arkansas, graduated in 1990, which is the true best year of graduating students. 89 was always been a little left to be wanted there. Yeah. I went to ASU from there, spent 4 years. Then I came back and got my master's in about 2 years, all through ASU.
Wow, okay, good to know. Go to ASU.
Go Indians.
What were you like in high school? That's my favorite question personally.
I was not the role model student. Back then they paddled. My last paddling was about 3 weeks before I graduated high school. I was a good person. I made good grades. I just questioned things at times, sometimes like many of you do.
Yeah.
Back then also I was I was black and white. I want people treated fair. So if I thought it wasn't, I would say something and I would get in trouble sometimes.
Sometimes it's okay to get in trouble for situations like that.
You know, but I always had high expectations for myself as I do my students here at school. And I don't know. I just wasn't the role model student like a lot of people think a principal would be. But I did enjoy my time. You know, Mr. Miller, I couldn't be like him because I've heard great stories. My wife graduated from Nettleton. Yeah. And, he was the role model. Mm-hmm. Nothing that Mr. Miller ever did.
He never got a paddling.
Never from any issues in the restrooms or hallways or anything like that.
No. Yep. What school did you teach at first?
I did my student teaching here in 1994. I really wanted to work at Nettleton, but I wasn't good enough for them. So I went to Westside for 3 years, coached football. Taught health, taught PE, taught geography, and coached about everything under the sun except for volleyball because I did not know anything about that sport. Did that for 3 years. Then I came here for a year as the head junior high football coach, and I was recruited away to go to Wynne, Arkansas, where I coached for 6 years, won 2 state championship rings. I meant to bring them today, but I just didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
When did you start teaching at Nettleton?
When I started teaching. The first time was 1998 through 1999, and then I left, went to Wynne. I came back in 2005, and I've been here ever since. I taught at Nettleton for 1 year, 2005 to 6. Then I was assistant principal for 9 years at the junior high, 6 years as a principal there, and now this is my second year principal here.
How long did it take for you to become a principal?
As far as somebody finally being dumb enough to hire me, or...
Well,
9 years. To get my master's, because you get your undergraduate degree, which was a BSc in physical education, and then it basically about a year and a half, 33 hours worth of courses is what I had to take, and then 12 more hours on top of that. So it took about 2 years if you went straight through. I didn't. I had a young child, and I was coaching football, so it took me about 4.5 years. Yeah. And then you just had to find somebody to hire you.
They're always the best. So what is your favorite part about being at the high school?
Oh, wow. There's several things. One thing is getting to watch a lot of you where you came into the junior high 7th graders because, I knew I got to meet a lot of you there, and seeing how you have grown, matured, become very successful. That's a great thing for me. Now, the students I don't know that'll be coming here next year, and all that, it's the maturity level of the students for the most part. It's students seeing and realizing what they want in their career, what they're wanting their lives to be, and to see that light come on. It's just so rewarding when you talk to, and nothing against junior high students, but they're younger, so the maturity level is not there that is here at the high school, and just being able to have a normal, mature conversation with the student is outstanding. It's really fun and neat to see.
Yeah. you kind of answered the second question, but like, what are the major differences you saw from junior high to high school?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's some of it, but just also the number of courses that are offered, the functioning parts of a high school, because it goes so many directions, and you know, so many goals, so many clubs. There's so many more responsibilities as a high school principal than what you have as a junior high principal. You're looking at, you know, dealing with what you might think is minor, but pep rallies. You got to make sure everybody's feeling like they're involved in the pep rally. You make sure that clubs are getting the same amount of time. And then, you know, with prom and dances and whatever it may be, there are a lot of differences. The junior high principal position was a lot easier.
I bet.
I wasn't gray. I was actually very dark-headed a year and a half ago, and now I'm gray.
Yeah, it could take a toll. It's like the presidency.
It is. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Yeah, how they gray? Yeah.
Yeah. We talked about that in economics, not economics, but civics with Mr.
There you go. I'm
Franks.
saying it should have been civics.
We're learning stuff.
Okay,
in there.
good. Awesome.
Okay. What does a day as a principal look like for you, and what are some things your job entails?
Okay. Oh, wow. The day I start out getting here before 6 a.m.
Oh, wow.
I go through and turn on all the lights, make sure that nothing has been broken into.
Yeah.
Raccoons haven't fallen through ceilings or anything of that nature. Making sure that teachers have got their doors locked and secure, so when the students come in, and not just teachers, but also the administrative staff, because that's one of our things about security. I make 3 pots of coffee for the teachers, so when they start coming in, they'll have some coffee to drink. And, you know, after I made my rounds, I go in there, I start answering emails. I'm paying invoices for, like, when Mr. Miller, if he needs to purchase something, and we go through the invoices, or all the teachers, so I make sure those bills are paid to send over to central office. And then it goes from, you know, there are some days, there's never a boring day. Some days are a little more exciting than others. You know, it might be dealing with disciplinary referrals, might be dealing with parental concerns. It might be dealing with, we're working a lot with our factories, with ASU Newport, with ASU here in Jonesboro, trying to get you guys externships or internships or connections to help you out in your education. It's, you know, so it's some PR work. It's there's been times I've been here mopping floors, you know, or just helping out. It's, being the principal is a little bit of everything.
Yeah. It's a lot more than what I thought it was. I thought you just
roam
the hallways.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people thought. When I was the teacher, I was sitting in the office. I'm like, man, I need to be a principal. They sit down there, drink coffee, eat donuts, and just talk to people.
Yeah.
No. Once again, I used to have dark hair. And a lot of it. I had a mullet in high school.
Really?
Yeah, I could put it in a ponytail. It was so long.
I have a mullet wig. I should wear it to school one day.
You know, I had it parted down the middle, feathered back. I was cool.
You were rocking it.
I was. Even had a little ugly mustache.
What's your favorite grade currently right now?
All of them.
Is that the truth?
It's the politically correct answer.
Say 24.
Well, I can't. I would like to say who it was. Class 89. Or 86 or 87 or whenever my wife graduated. I can't remember.
I'm highly offended.
Well, you know, I like everybody. I don't have any favorites. So everybody's my favorite.
I feel the same way about people.
You know, I mean, I just enjoy being around people.
Understandable.
Yeah.
I do too.
But, you know, the class I'm going to miss the most out of all these classes next year will be the class 23 because they're graduating.
Yeah.
They won't be around. So, I'll see everybody else.
That is true.
Yeah.
Okay. I've heard some information about you.
Uh-oh.
The Ironman Marathon. Mr. Miller, he was trying to give us some questions to ask you, and he goes, ask him about that. So.
Yeah, I've done a full iron. You mean just tell you how it all started?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not very smart. An Ironman consists of a 2.4-mile swim.
Okay.
Then you do a 112-mile bike ride, and then you do a 26.2. Isn't that what a marathon is? Run. You have 17 hours to complete, or they disqualify you. I would like to say I did it in under 13 hours. I'm pretty good like that, but the pros did it in like 6.
Wow.
So I've always been a swimmer, and that's what got me into teaching and coaching and everything else. Is I taught lifeguarding. I taught water safety. I've taught all this stuff. I was into teaching, so I really enjoyed swimming. I always wanted to do it. But growing up in Mountain View, Arkansas, there's, you swim in the creek and it gets shallow after about 100 feet, so you don't really do much. But I'd go to North Fork and do whatever. But I always said I wanted to. People said I couldn't. And when I made enough money that I could buy a bicycle from Gearhead, I did, and I started training. So I started doing, you have smaller, if you ever want to do something like that, you have smaller events that are 500-yard swim, a 13-mile bike, and a 3-mile run, stuff like that. But I started doing those, and it just graduated. I did 3 half irons, which is a 1.2, a 56, and a 13.1. And so I went to Michigan, did some of those, Augusta, Georgia, and I went to Florida to do the full. It was something that somebody said you couldn't do, and so guess what?
You did it.
I did it. I'll never do it again.
I probably didn't even win.
It was awesome, but the training, I would work my 40-plus hours a week at school.
Oh, wow.
And then I was getting up at 2:33 a.m. to go run a half marathon, like 13 miles before I came to work. And then I'd get off work, and I would go and have to swim 5 miles after work. And I did that every day. So I was training between 12 and 18 hours a day on top of my work, getting very little sleep. I was eating about 5,000 to 6,000 calories a day.
How long ago was this?
2016, November the 6th.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I got used to eating all those calories, so I could exercise, and I blew up like a balloon. Then I had to slow down.
Okay. So what is some advice you would give a student that might want to become a principal one day?
You've got to. There's several things. When I tell young people, some of our administrators are getting into it fairly young, and number one, you've got to be fair, and you've got to be consistent, and that's not always easy.
Yeah.
It's difficult sometimes because you have to have hard conversations, so you can't take things personal. So if let's say you did something, made a bad choice, and I had to contact your family and tell them I was suspending you, that's not an easy conversation, especially when you've not made bad decisions.
Yeah.
But you got to be fair and honest. So that's one thing you got to tell them. You can't worry about somebody being upset with you, because a lot of times when you are fair and you're honest with people may be upset and may say things. But you've also got to love kids. Mm-hmm. You've got to like being here in the school because you spend so much time between ball games, between choir concerts, band concerts. And so what I have done over all the years, sometimes I get really aggravated at kids, but it's because I get aggravated at my own kids. And because I start feeling like, and Mr. Miller can probably tell you, it's the same as a teacher. But you got to be willing to spend time outside of the normal day, which a lot of people, if they're selling insurance or whatever, when their day's over, their day's over.
Yeah.
My day was over the other night, Mr. Miller. We left the ball game, about 9:15, 9:30, something like that. And so, but it's still fun. Be willing to work hard for a little pay.
Yeah.
And I know people say, well, you get 3 months off. No, you don't.
Yeah.
Principals don't, but even teachers don't. Even they may get, they're still up here doing stuff. But
yeah.
I would say the main thing is you got to like being around people.
Yeah.
So
I'm a people person.
I can tell that. Mr. Miller's a people person. He likes, you could just tell by genuine how he's.
Yeah.
And that's what I look for when I hire people. I didn't hire Mr. Miller, but if I did, I would know real quick by his personality and interview that he likes people, and that's what you want.
Mm-hmm. So if I were to become a teacher one day and came here, you'd hire me if you were
I'm not retired. I would hire you in a heartbeat because you're an Elton Raider. Yep.
Okay. Biggest question on the list.
Okay.
Not the last, but it's the biggest.
Right.
Who do you think is funnier, Mr. Watson or Mr. Miller?
Oh, I was afraid you'd ask this.
Mr.
Miller and I are closer in age, so we kind of get each other's sense of humor.
Yeah.
Which is probably better than Watson, because this young millennial age, I just don't know, Mr. Miller. It's I don't get their humor sometimes. Mm-hmm. They try to be funny, but I'm just like, it's kind of like Napoleon Dynamite. have you ever watched that movie?
Yes, I have.
I think it's funny, but it's not funny some things. And so you really got to kind of just lower yourself to think some stuff funny. People that grew up in the 80s and the 70s, it wasn't that way. We worked harder. Mm-hmm. We had to walk longer in the snow barefooted. And it's just, we're funnier.
Yeah.
And so I hate to say it's Mr. Watson because I am his superior. But I'd have to say Miller because we grew up in the 80s together. And we get each other. And we like each other's movies. Yeah. We were talking about the greatest movies. Rocky is one of the movies. And it was just like all of a sudden, it was like, whoa, Rocky 5. Excuse me, Rocky 4. It was one of the best ones ever. So
I feel the same way. I work with a lot of college students, and there's one girl there. She's in the grade above me, but we will laugh at the most funniest things to us. But everyone else in the shop is like, that's not funny.
Yeah, we'll say they just don't have sense.
They just don't understand.
Yep, exactly.
They don't get
higher intelligent levels get more comic, whatever it is, relief or so. I don't know. We understand, Isn't that right, Mr. Miller?
Exactly right.
Sorry, Mr. Watson.
Okay, last question. What is a quote you live by?
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
And that's what I live by all the time. I don't know if anybody's ever noticed. I'm a little hot-headed. I'm fiery at times. I've had to learn to back off, and I've told myself a long time ago, it is what it is. I can't change. I can ask, and I can suggest, and I can give reasons why people need to be this way, do this, or whatever. It's kind of like my kids.
Yeah.
It is what it is, though. Ultimately, I can control nobody but myself.
Yeah.
And so I actually have a coffee cup that a lady, when she retired, she brought it to me. She said, "You say this all the time, and here you go."
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
That's going to be the thumbnail. Just say
There you
it
go.
is what it is. All right. Well, thank you for
Oh,
coming
thank
on here
you.
today. We appreciate you coming on here, and we appreciate you being our principal.
Well, I appreciate all of y'all making school, and the best one around. I've worked at 3 different districts, and Nettleton by far is like home to me, and I love it, and I love everybody that's been here and taught. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Sweating.
All right. Y'all have a great Raider Day.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Raider Nation Podcast. Make sure to join us next time. And as always, Raider Pride is justified. Raider Pride forever.